Okay, Year 4, welcome to today's assembly, which is all about Captain Sir Tom Moore, who I'm sure you're aware of, was the man who last year walked 100 laps of his garden and raised millions of pounds for the NHS. And unfortunately, he did pass away recently, so we're going to have a little think about his life and what he was able to do in his life. So, just in case you didn't know these things about Tom Moore, he actually served in India and in Myanmar in World War II as an army soldier. So that's what he did. And he used to look at some of the mechanics of some of the machines and the bikes and the tanks and things. And he worked a bit as an engineer, looking at those and making sure that they were all worthy to be part of the war. He was really famous for raising, well, he tried to raise £1,000 for the NHS for his 100th birthday, because last year he turned 100. But instead he raised £33 million for the NHS. So he massively exceeded that £1,000 that he did try to raise. On his 100th birthday, he received over 150,000 birthday cards from people all over the world, and they were all laid out in a big hall in the middle of a community centre where he lives, and they were all put out for him to see, and they're hoping that they can now make that into some sort of monument for him to remember him by. So just a little bit of history about him then. So he was born in Keighley in West Yorkshire in 1920 on the 30th of April, and his mum was a teacher, a little bit like me, and his dad was also a builder. He joined the British Army during World War II, and he became a captain while he was in India. So that was when he got that rank of a captain. Once he went through the war and he survived the war, he became a sales manager for a roofing company. So he started selling all of the things that you can put on your roof. When he retired, he needed to go and have some surgery in an NHS hospital for a broken hip that he had suffered. And he thought that he received some amazing treatment from them, and that is what inspired him to raise money for them during this COVID pandemic. So in the very first lockdown last year, that's when he decided that he was going to walk 100 laps of his garden for his 100th birthday and raise some money. He was knighted by the Queen at Windsor Castle last summer. I think it was in August time, and that's where he got his Sir from. So that's where he became Captain Sir Tom Moore. So because he was an army captain, he doesn't lose that rank, so captain always comes before his name. And because he was knighted by the Queen, he also has that Sir in his name too, and he won't lose that, making him Captain Sir Tom Moore, and that is his official name. He did make a quote about the coronavirus pandemic, which I think is very important, and he said, "We will get through it in the end, but it might take time. At the end of the day, we shall all be okay again. The sun will shine on you again, and the clouds will go away." Which is his way of saying that even though we're struggling now, and it all feels a bit cloudy right now, and we're not too sure what's going on, it will be sunny again one day, and we will all be okay, and we'll be able to be free and be back to normal. So, the Prime Minister recently spoke about Tom Moore's achievements and some of the amazing things that he had done while he was alive, and this is part of the reason why he's trying to be celebrated. And celebrities like Amanda Holden have said that we need a big statue of him to remember everything that he has done for his services to the country and all of those things that he did for the NHS as well during the global pandemic. So, I want you to have a little think now, just to reflect. Captain Sir Tom Moore was an inspiration during these very difficult times. Thanks to his courage, perseverance and strength, at the age of 99 he was able to unite the nation. I want you to have a think about a time that you were able to show courage and perseverance. So when you felt like you couldn't do something and then you were able to. Okay, now that you've had a chance to think about yourself and there is something that you've been able to do where you show courage and perseverance, I want you to have a think about the legacy that Tom has left on the world. What do you think of all his achievements was the greatest? Do you think it was raising £33 million for the NHS? Do you think it was him becoming a captain while he was in the army? Do you think it's his services that he gave to the country while he was at war? Have a little think about what you think his greatest achievement might have been. I'm going to give you a few moments. Okay, now you've had a little think. I want to tell you about some of the things that he was able to achieve while he was in the army. So, he was awarded 4 medals whilst he was in World War II. So, in 1939 to 1945, he was awarded the Star for his service in the Second World War. And they only had 6 months service for this, and he completed those 6 months of service, so was able to achieve that award. He also was given the Burma Star, which was given to British and Commonwealth, so the people who were in the British Commonwealth, forces who served in the Burma campaign. So while they were in Burma, he was able to achieve the Burma Star. He had to be given the Star for 1939 to 1945 before he was able to achieve that Burma Star. He was given a War Medal in 1939 to 1945 for his lasting of 28 days at least in World War II. And lastly, he was given a Defence Medal, which was reissued to him on his 100th birthday for all of his service that he was able to complete during the war. So he also, which is a fact that not many people know about him, he did used to race motorcycles in his spare time, and he used to compete quite competitively in his motorcycle racing. So he would go to races when he was younger, and that's what enabled him to be part of an engineer in the army, because he knew lots about the way that bikes and things worked. And lastly, just his greatest achievement about raising money for the NHS. He achieved his 100th lap on the 16th of April, and he was given a Guard of Honour by the 1st Battalion of the Yorkshire Regiment. So he had lots of other soldiers and some of their band and things there watching him walk that final lap of his garden. Lastly, one other thing that he was able to do, he did achieve a #1 single with Michael Ball on a cover of the song You'll Never Walk Alone, which some of you might know as the Liverpool Football Club anthem. And he was able to get this song to #1 with Michael Ball. So just before we close this assembly off, Captain Sir Tom Moore has sadly died very recently, and he was being treated in hospital for pneumonia and coronavirus. So pneumonia is a disease and an illness which affects your breathing and your lungs, and he did sadly also test positive for coronavirus. And he passed away a couple of weeks ago now. He became very famous for raising all his money for the NHS before his 100th birthday, as well as his services for the army and this country. Our Queen, so Queen Elizabeth II, recently came out with a statement of, "My thoughts and those of the royal family are with Captain Tom's relatives. I recognise the inspiration he provided for the whole nation and others across the world." That, alongside the Prime Minister's statement as well, which I'll link to you down below if you wanted to watch them, are some of the reasons why Tom is very special and why we're going to be thinking about him today. So, while we're thinking about him, I want you to have a little think one more time about what you think his greatest achievement was and what you plan for your greatest achievement to be in your life too.